he was tall and gaunt, and he had a very distinct and active Adam's apple. You know, when he spoke, the thing would go up and down in his neck like this, and his neck was all above his collar, and secondly, he was the clothes he wore, they didn't seem to fit. You know, they were he wore these clothes that were the jackets and shirts were too big, but the sleeves landed somewhere in the middle of his forearm, and the pants, you know, came nowhere near his ankles. I mean, you know, he was this tall, skinny guy dressed in the well-worn apparel of a short, fat guy, and I used to sit with his understudy, was Mr. Bill Marshall, and we used to talk about him, and we agreed that maybe he was a good actor, but he probably got the part because he looked like a country bumpkin, you know, a good-natured, innocent, not too bright,
yes.
and maybe just fresh from following a plow attached to some mule's ass in the cotton.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, where did he get his clothes? I don't think it was part of the depression, was the truth. but and so that was the beginning of my talk. If it were part of the depression with Ossie, it wouldn't have mattered because even when we weren't in the depression, he was pretty much like that. No,
and both of you were working in a play.
We were working in a play
time.
called, it was his first lead in a Broadway show that Herman Shumlin was producing called Jeb.
Yes.
And I started out as the understudy to the love interest Libby.
Yes.
And later on I got the job.
Yes.
I mean, before the opening, and so I got to know him. But I have to tell you this because, well, at one point during the rehearsal, Ossie was standing on stage, you know, tying his tie. And he was dressed in his soldier's uniform costume. And as I watched him, I felt something like a bolt of lightning, an electrical charge.
This was after a period of time.
No, this was during those first few weeks of rehearsal.
Didn't take long for the impression to change.
Well, because I was very shocked because I had no romantic notions about him.
Yes.
And I hadn't, I just didn't, and I never thought about him in any romantic way. You know, it was just looking at him. It was it was just a shock.
Yes.
You know?
To feel this bolt.
You know, and yes. How could such a thing? I was wondering what was happening. It was one of the most unique experiences in my life. I used to be able to recall how it felt, but I can't anymore. It just, all I remember now was the surprise of it. And I'm thinking, oh God, he must have felt something too. That's how surprising it was.